Hi there, lead instructor of the Spino Spirit Training Group here. We're going to be going over the effects of high levels of stress and what that can do to the body. It's worth noting, this isn't going to be a full list and it's not going to be a heavily detailed list, but we are going to go over the individual effects that it can have on the body. We're going to simulate that with some video effects and stuff like that so you can somewhat experience it. And then we're also going to go over how you can train that at the end. Now, it's worth noting, all of the training that I do on the range or in person for consultation stuff, it does involve what the body goes through under stress and techniques for how to avoid that. Most of what we're going to be looking through is called stress inoculation training. Nonetheless, we'll get there. So some of the physical effects that are going to happen to your body during these events, you're going to have cardiovascular changes. This is going to be obviously a heavily increased heart rate. You're talking from whatever your resting heart rate is up to 150, 160, 170. During some of our training, we try to get you up to 130, 140, sometimes up to 150 just to simulate that stress, but we're not pushing you all the way to 170. During this time, you're going to be hearing your heartbeat in your ears and through your head. You're going to feel it in your eyes. You're going to feel it through your hands, or we'll get to that one here in a minute. You'll feel it in different ways. Whenever your body goes through into this heightened state of survival, your body is prioritizing only the organs it needs. Does your body need a liver whenever it's fighting for its life? No, it's going to pull some of that blood supply from there and put it elsewhere. Does your body need your intestines, your stomach? No, it's not. It's going to pull that blood and pull that energy and put it somewhere else. This is part of why you see people pee or poop on themselves during high stress events. Keep in mind that is a perfectly normal thing. It happens to a lot of people, and it's not something you should bash anybody for. Perfectly natural. So back on the cardiovascular, whenever your body is starting to pull that blood and pump it elsewhere throughout the body, such as your legs, your arms, your brain, your eyes, it can have huge variations and effects. Most common effect that you're going to experience is a tunnel vision effect, a very, very sharp constriction of your vision to the point of it's not just your peripheral that disappears. It can be even your high focus central areas, everything around that disappears as well. One of my particular incidences with that, all I can remember was the rear sight of a Glock pistol. I mean, you see things in extremely fine detail. This is partially due to pupil dilation, just pulling in even more light and more information. There are some people that also seem to experience what they feel like is a slowdown in time, very common, and it's partially due to all these changes as well. To the point of some police officers and military personnel have reported being able to see the bullets flying through the air in their direction. We're talking several thousand feet per second, but they're able to see them flying through the air and impacting things.
Shoot him! The enemy's right there! Shoot him! The enemy's right there!
It's not uncommon that your body under extreme situations is able to absorb more information for you to more likely survive. Similarly, we get auditory occlusion, slightly less common, but it's still a more common factor that people are going to experience. This is basically where your audio, all of your hearing, disappears. Now, if you can't hear anything anyway, like me, okay, you're at your normal state. But it's even heavier than that. This is part of why troops in contact are always yelling at each other. It's to kind of break through some of that auditory occlusion and all of the other noise that's going on.
Motherfucker!
That's it.
Motherfucker!
That's it.
Your body has a natural sound dampening that it will do whenever there's heightened levels of sound. Some of the other things that are going to happen is your body will start to pull some of the saliva. You may get a dry mouth. Some people even start drooling excessively. We're getting into the realm of things that are very diverse. It sometimes happens to some people, sometimes not to others. Until you experience these things, you don't necessarily know what yours are. They get to the point of such a dry mouth where they don't feel like they can talk. They can't actually communicate. Their vocal cords start to feel clogged or just inoperable. No clue what they're going to be until you get there. So that's mostly some of the things on the head. You will also get some sensory things related to your nose and bringing in smells. Some people can't smell a thing under high stress. Some people smell a huge amount during high stress. Don't know which one you're going to get. So moving away from the head, some of the more common outer body things that you're going to lose is fine dexterity. I go over this in another video, but under high stress, it becomes a lot harder to pull one finger without moving your other fingers. And you instead clench all of your fingers instead. This is basically the loss of fine motor skills. You're losing the ability to do really fine and dexterous things. Instead of being able to touch buttons on your phone to dial a phone number, you are now just bumbling through there and you're hitting things you're not meant to. We actually see this referenced in On Killing and On Combat with Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman. These are some older books. They're a little bit outdated now, but they're still great value in learning. But he has multiple case studies of individuals under high stress who, because they don't have law enforcement on speed dial or some type of emergency button, they fail to call law enforcement effectively, or just don't call them out right at all. You'll also see cases where people get shot in extremities, say through the arm, and throughout the fight, they have a hole in their arm, but until they actually acknowledge it, there's not really much bleeding at all. But once they acknowledge it, it actually opens up those capillaries and veins and everything, and the blood flow starts to return, therefore creating a bleed. A little bit harder to simulate that one, but that is a common thing in high stress events. Obviously, you're going to have a very extreme heart rate, or I'm sorry, not heart rate, respirations, breathing. They're going to be sucking in a lot of air, pushing it out really fast. You need to really control that breathing. We're going to get more on that whenever we go to training. Similarly, some people get a lead foot feeling where they feel like they can't move. They're stuck in place. No matter how much they tell themselves to move and they know they need to move, they physically cannot move. This can be a pretty common thing. This actually segues pretty good into that whole fight or flight thing, right? People generally think, oh, I'm a fighter or I'm a flight type person. Well, there is a third option. And unfortunately, third option is the most common for most people. Staying in place, not doing anything. Sometimes whenever we first see a trauma, maybe it's at a car wreck or something, it's very common to just stare at that event. Or if someone's threatening your life in that moment, you're not sure what to do, so you just seize up and you can't move. You know you need to do something, but you can't do anything at the moment. A lead foot feeling is also a fairly common one as well. People know they need to get movement, but they can't create the movement. Some of the other things you're probably going to feel with the heightened heart rate, heightened respirations, you're going to get sweating, chills, probably feel pretty lethargic. As we already mentioned, your bowels are going to be a little looser. These are all extremely common things that you're going to feel, and they can stick around with you for quite some time afterwards. Even after the high stress event, you're going to feel an extreme fatigue, almost as if you had been working out for multiple hours. Even if the event was only 10 seconds, you're going to feel an extreme fatigue afterwards and just needing to sit. Some people get an extreme boost of energy and they're just hyped up and ready to go. These are all perfectly common and normal. So let's go into what you can do to mitigate some of these stress effects or stress inoculation. So for the most part, expose yourself to stimuli and push through it. So in the case of training, I am going to put a gun on your target or a knife on your target or some type of symbol that forces you to focus and differentiate, forces you to consider information, pull it through your eyes, consider it and process it, and then act. Through stress inoculation, we can train ourselves to act. We start to defeat that lead foot feeling. We start to defeat that auditory occlusion or that tunnel vision that come in and creep in on us. Unfortunately, there is not a set amount of training that gets you to this point. Some folks just have a natural inherent ability to process stress and just punch on through. Some people, they take a lot longer to get there. What's important is that you start to train yourself, start to stress yourself out in whatever way you can. One of the ways you can get arm exercises that stress you out is get a kettlebell. If you come to my classes, you're going to hate my kettlebell. One of the things we're going to do is hold that out at arm's length and do some exercises. Might be walking, might be running, might be just picking up, putting it down. What that's going to simulate is loss of fine dexterity. When you go for a reload, your hands are tired. They're a little beaten up from the whole day of shooting and things like that. You're going to have a hard time reinserting that magazine, chambering around, all the normal working bits. Some of the other things you can do to raise your heart rate and get that higher level of stress are just run sprints across a bay somewhere. If you have really good cardiovascular health anyway, it's going to take you harder or longer to get to a heightened state of heartbeats, I guess. Higher heart rate. It's going to take a little bit more for you. That's okay. Just keep on pushing through. Maybe even push yourself harder to get there a little bit faster. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. As for auditory occlusion, you can partially simulate this by just turning off electronic hearing protection. That can be a little bit of a safety thing, so be considerate about it. You need to control the environment quite a bit, because if you're having somebody yell at you while you do this, you might need to know the difference between yelling within the exercise as opposed to yelling because there's an unsafe situation that just created itself. The lead foot feeling, you can kind of simulate this by putting, say, weights on your feet and forcing yourself into an unknown target situation and forcing yourself to move one way or the other. It will at least force you to push through that aversion of some type of lead weight feeling. All in all, this is just a general guideline and some examples of what your body does under extreme stress, and hopefully some simulation therein to give you an idea of what that might look like. And then we also give some pointers for how to prepare against that and what to do. The biggest thing that you can do in these high stress environments is do what's called tactical breathing. It uses the buzzword tactical, right? But it's basically 3-second inhale, 3-second hold, 3-second exhale, 3-second hold. And you just constantly do that. Just riveting content. This allows oxygen to circulate through your body, goes through your capillaries, through your veins, through your heart, and up to your brain so you can process information a lot faster. That is probably the single best bit of information you can take out of this whole thing, outside of get out there and do some working out. While I say that, I'm going to go eat some pastries. Enjoy. Thank you.